Welcome to Weight Loss and Wellness for Real, the podcast where people like you get the practical solutions and support you need to permanently lose the physical and mental weight so you can feel better and live the life you really want to live in the body and mind you really want to be living in. If you're looking to overcome your stress eating, overeating, binging behaviors, and move to a place of food and body freedom, as well as find more meaning and more moments of joy in life, you are in the right place. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Weight Loss and Wellness for Real. This is the podcast where we break down real practical strategies for better mental, emotional, physical, spiritual health, fitness, and well-being. I'm Heather Heynen. I'm the one who hosts this. Today, we're diving into something that often gets overlooked in the weight loss conversation, in the health conversation, and that is sleep. So, if you've ever tried to improve your fitness, to eat better, or lose weight, but felt like something was holding you back, it could be your sleep. So, how well and how much we sleep really play a major role in weight loss as well as weight maintenance. So today we're going to really break down the science of sleep and weight loss and give you some very practical tips that you can start implementing tonight. So let's get into it. Hi, everyone. Guess what? I have a lovely discount code just for you, my listeners. The code is 10 off. That's 10OFF. And it will get you 10% off any one of my online courses, which now include Mastering Mindful Eating, Overcome Binge Eating, Overeating, and Emotional Eating for Good. And I also have a course on When You Want to Stop the Weight Loss Medication, a comprehensive guide to weight maintenance and mastery. So if you've maybe lost some weight using a medication and you're now wanting to go off the medication but keep the weight off, this is the course for you. And any course you buy, you keep the course for a minimum of 3 years, maybe longer. It just depends on how many are purchased. All courses are self-paced, and I promise you they are practical, meaning they don't just tell you what you need to do. You actually engage in the skills and strategies needed to make actual lasting behavior change. You learn how to do the what. Okay, all courses have multiple modules with multiple lessons. All include lots of examples, tips, and tricks to make things simple and clear. And you also get lots of downloadable resources, including the daily planning template that I use with my own clients, the exact protocol to use after a binge or an overeat has occurred to minimize its damage on your body and your mind. There are protein cheat sheets, research-based journaling prompts, and the literal how-to checklists on the skill you are learning about. And with the weight maintenance course, you also have a movement module that will help you figure out how to make a movement plan that fits your particular lifestyle and level of fitness. And you also have a natural appetite regulation module. So whether if you have never tried an online course to change behavior, or if you have, I just highly would recommend that you try one of these. I've put my heart and soul into both of them. They are all research-based, and now you can get 10% off. So again, that code is 10OFF. If you're ready to make changes that last, you can go to my website, heatherheynen.com. Heynen is spelled Heynen. And from the main menu, click courses, and it will get you to where you want to go. Or you can click on the links in the episode description below the show. And again, as soon as you're there, when you're ready for checkout, just enter the code 10OFF, 10 off. And just a reminder, I also have an ebook cookbook that is now available. It's called Protein Forward Easy Recipes. It includes all high protein recipes, including breakfast and sweet treats full of protein and lunches and dinner. Okay, so again, head to my website. It's probably the easiest thing to do, heatherheynen.com. Heynen is spelled Heynen. And from there, go to courses or the cookbook. And again, use code 10 off at checkout. We're going to start with the basics. What does sleep have to do with our weight? And it turns out quite a bit. So studies show that people who consistently get less than 7 hours of sleep per night are more likely to gain weight or struggle with weight loss. One large study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that sleep-deprived individuals ate an average of 300 more calories per day compared to those who were well rested. And maybe that doesn't sound like much, but over time, those extra 300 calories really add up to significant weight gain. But the question is, why does this happen? So let's talk about two hormones, ghrelin and leptin. Ghrelin is the hormone that makes you feel hungry, while leptin tells your brain that you're full. And when you don't get enough sleep, ghrelin levels spike, making you hungrier, while leptin levels drop, meaning it takes longer for your brain to register that you're full. So essentially, when you get poor sleep, lack of quality sleep, it really turns up your appetite and makes it really difficult to stop overeating. Sleep isn't, though, just about how it affects our hunger hormones. It also affects our metabolism and how our body processes food. So when you're sleep deprived, your body becomes less sensitive to insulin, and that's the hormone that helps regulate your blood sugar levels. So this can lead to higher blood sugar levels and, over time, an increased risk of type 2 diabetes. And then even in the short term, poor sleep can make it harder for your body to process carbohydrates and to store fat properly. And then, of course, there's a cortisol, which we've talked about a lot in this podcast. It's the stress hormone. When you're not getting enough rest, cortisol levels rise, which not only make you feel more stressed, but also promote fat storage, particularly around our midsections, the type of fat, visceral fat we really, really do not want. There was a study published in Internal Medicine that found when dieters cut back on sleep, the amount of fat they lost was reduced by 55%. So even though they were on the same calorie restricted diet, sleep deprived patients felt hungrier, less satisfied after meals, and the fat loss they had been achieving was reduced by 55%. One of the really sneaky ways sleep deprivation impacts weight loss is how it affects our decision making around food. And you've probably noticed that after a bad night's sleep, you crave high carb, sugary, fatty foods. And this is because lack of sleep affects the brain's reward centers. So it makes those comfort foods even harder to resist. It kind of creates this situation throughout our day. We're tired, we're restless, and now we really want to feel better. And so we want to go to those comfort foods, and the urges are really strong. Studies using brain scans have shown that when you're sleep deprived, the activity in the frontal lobe, the part of our brain responsible for making decisions and impulse control, that decreases, while activity in the brain's reward centers increase. So essentially, your brain kind of starts to prioritize immediate pleasure over long-term goals, which is why it's so hard to resist the junk food when we're tired. So if you're finding it, hard, difficult to stick to your nutrition plan or to manage cravings, it really could be a sign that your sleep needs more attention. All right, so now we kind of know how critical sleep is for weight loss and overall all health. Let's talk about some practical strategies to improve your sleep starting today. So first of all, you want to aim for at least 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night. If you're perimenopause, you absolutely need to be aiming for that number. Everyone's needs are slightly different just as individuals. But if you are consistently getting less than 7 hours, it is really time to make sleep a priority. So here's a practical tip on that one. Really set a consistent bedtime and wake up time, even on weekends. I have a really interesting circadian rhythm. I just kind of know that from all the little biohacks and wearables that I've done over the years. And so I'm a very early riser, early to bed. And so I have a bedtime. It's always kind of embarrassing when I talk about this out loud, but my bedtime, my optimal bedtime for optimal sleep, quality sleep, is between 7:45 and 8:45. And I am really honestly pretty rigid with that, because when I don't go to bed in time and I do not get good quality sleep, the next day is pretty it's really, really tough for me, especially if I have a work day. I have brain fog, and which in my job, you just cannot have. You're dealing with people one-on-one, deep conversation all day long, really, I need my brain. um, and so I'm pretty rigid about going to bed between 7:45 and 8:45. But in order for me to fall asleep between 7:45 and 8:45, I have to get into bed around 7 or 7:15 because I really need to read. I have a whole wind down routine that helps me get higher quality sleep. And that means I've got to be in my bed before that time period that I want to fall asleep because it takes a little time to wind down in my bed. Okay. So, you kind of figuring out what's best bedtime for you, wake up time for you. Obviously, this changes if you have young kids, different seasons in our lives. It's going to be different, but really finding a consistent bedtime and wake up time. And that means even on weekends. So, your body's internal clock or circadian rhythm really thrives on consistency. So, no matter what your kind of innate circadian rhythm or internal clock is, as long because you might have one like mine, but you got little kids, so there's no way in heck you're going to sleep between 7:45 and 8:45. So that's okay. You just want to be consistent. So consistency is key. Next practical strategy, you want to create a relaxing bedtime routine. So in the hour leading up to bed, you want to do things that calm your mind and body. So this could be reading, this could be light stretching, this could be listening to calming music. One of the things I find with my clients who I'm working through sleeping issues with is that I have quite a few, and this used to be me, who watch like like true crime shows before bed, like really intense TV shows before bed. And if that's you, I just really would stress to try to do something else right before bed. Um, those shows that jack your emotions up. This is not going to be helpful for quality sleep throughout the night. So, really, just thinking about that, maybe experimenting with making some changes of watching something different that's not emotionally um, impacting you. So, reading, maybe it is you want to watch a show, but maybe you choose something that's um, just way less I can't think of a word, emotion provoking for you. Do a little light stretching. You could listen to some calming music. Uh, at best, you'd want to avoid screens at least 30 minutes before bed. Y'all have heard about the blue light from phones and computers. It interferes with melatonin production, and that's the hormone that makes you feel sleepy. So try dimming the lights, use a meditation app, practice deep breathing exercises before bed. If you are one of those people, you just absolutely have to go to sleep, with a screen. Then I would suggest, shifting your screen to red light mode, whatever screen you're watching, and or wearing some glasses that can block the blue light that's coming in. All right, next tip, you want to optimize your sleep environment. So the temperature that you sleep in matters. Keep your bedroom cool. Around 60, 65 degrees is pretty ideal for most people. If you're working with if you're working with other family members who just can't handle that, I there are cooling mattress pads that you can buy. They're not, they're super, super spendy ones with all the cool gadgets. I found a less expensive one on Amazon that I use. Honestly, that was a big game changer for my sleep about 5 years ago. So that's just an idea. If you can't run the AC that cool, or you just can't get your house that cool, to try one of those cooling pads. Okay, darkness, make sure your room is dark. So you want to use blackout curtains or you want to wear an eye mask. Darkness signals that to your brain that it's time to sleep by boosting melatonin. And these days, there is light everywhere. Even if you have blackout shades, you might have tech running in your bedroom where even little green lights, that your computer is on is going off. You want complete darkness. So, really important there. Using white noise machines, earplugs, or calming sound app can be really helpful if your environment is noisy, or if you're like me and an extremely light sleeper. Okay, watch what you eat and drink before bed. Avoid heavy meals and caffeine too close to bedtime. Caffeine can stay in your system for up to 8 hours. So switch to herbal teas or water in the afternoon. I've done some genetic testing, so I know that I'm a really, really slow metabolizer of caffeine, which means when I ingest caffeine, it takes a really, really, really long time for it to get out of my system. So when I learned that, I just really have a rule. I do not drink caffeine before 9 a.m. And honestly, I only have 1 cup of coffee a day, and I'm usually done drinking that by 6 a.m. But if for some reason I'm traveling or something like that and want a coffee, it only will happen if it's before 9 a.m. If I'm drinking caffeine after that, I am getting really restless, not good sleep the next night. So really trying to pay attention. How does caffeine affect you? Really trying to keep your caffeine intake at least before noon to help with sleep. So another idea, instead of a large late night snack, which many of us maybe used to be in the habit of doing, that would be me, opt for something small. And a little bit more nutrient dense, maybe like a protein shake. Um, Something that contains magnesium and potassium can help. So those are minerals that help relax muscles. So taking those things before bed, or foods with those things in them before bed, can kind of help relax muscles. And then managing stress levels. High stress leads to poor sleep, which then worsens stress in a vicious cycle. I had a whole incident over this past weekend where my daughter's car basically was not working. She's far away at college, and we have had problems with this car for as long as we've had this car. And, but this was something where it was progressively getting worse at starting. And she was just so upset and so sad and so stressed and so anxious. And I wasn't there and couldn't help her. And I was so stressed by this. And I had 2 nights where I literally was just like, I could not sleep, no matter all my tricks in the book. I do have certification in helping people with insomnia. And so I know all the things, and I was trying all the tricks. I was doing all the things, and I could not sleep for 2 nights just because I was so stressed. I was so stressed for her. So anyway, you want to be able to manage your stress levels. So incorporating relaxation techniques like meditation, mindfulness, journaling, deep breathing throughout your day can help improve your sleep quality at night. I do my deep breathing exercises while I'm driving. That's how I remember to do them. A lot of times we know all these things, we just forget to do them throughout the day. So sometimes these things are more about just how do I remember to do these things? I use a lot of timers on my phone that go off to remind me to do these little things. I use a ton of sticky notes. So sticky note on the dash of my car to remind me to do my deep breathing. Trying progressive muscle relaxation or a guided sleep meditation app to calm your mind and body before bed can be huge. I almost always use, I do use an app. It's called Insight Timer. I use the free version, and I use a lot of the Yoga Nidra mindfulness meditations on there, one before bed. And then if I wake up and can't go back to sleep, I always use those to go back to sleep. And then another practical tip, you actually want to be mindful of your daytime habits in regards to how it's going to affect your sleep. So, of course, movement or exercise, regular physical activity can help improve sleep quality, but you really do want to try, if you struggle with sleep, you want to try to avoid very vigorous exercise within a few hours of bedtime, as it can keep you more alert. And then natural light during the day. So getting sunlight early in the day to help regulate your circadian rhythm can make it actually easier to fall asleep at night. So by focusing on some of those habits, you're not only going to improve your sleep, but you're going to create this solid foundation for your weight loss goals, if that is your goal. If you're not trying to lose weight and you're just listening here for health, focusing on those habits is going to improve your sleep, which overall is going to improve your health. We all, I mean, this I guess could be an episode for another time, but we all kind of get that sleep. By this time, I think we most all know that sleep really impacts our health and our future health, not just our weight. All right. So to wrap it up, it's pretty clear. Sleep plays a really big role in weight loss and weight maintenance and in wellness and in health and in disease prevention that many of us maybe realize. So making sleep a priority, we can improve our metabolism, we can regulate our hunger hormones, we can make better food choices. So if you're hitting a plateau, or if you're feeling stuck in your weight loss journey, or if you're having a hard time maintaining your weight, take a close look at your sleep habits. It might just be the missing piece of the puzzle. Thanks so much for listening today. If you found this episode helpful, please subscribe, leave a review, and even better, share it with someone who could maybe benefit from better sleep and better health. And if you try any of these tips we discussed today, let me know how they're working for you. You can leave comments most podcast platforms under this episode. But of course, you're always welcome to reach out on social media as well. Usually I'm on Instagram is where I post the most, Instagram and Facebook. And Instagram is at Heynen, Heynen, at Heynen Counseling and Coaching. Facebook's just my name, Heather Heynen. I tried to start a TikTok a while back, but I just can't. I just cannot. So anyway, Instagram, Facebook, send me a note. Let me know if you try any of these things. Until next time, I just want to remind you to make sleep as much a priority as your workouts throughout the day and as the nutritious food you are putting in your bodies. You deserve it. Stay well, and we will talk soon. Did you know you can find a lot more help from me on my website? Go to heatherheynen.com. Heynen is spelled Heynen, and there you will find links to my online courses, how I work with clients one-on-one, as well as online with my coaching and counseling services that I offer. The information in this podcast is intended to provide a broad understanding and knowledge of healthcare topics. This information is for educational purposes only and should not be considered complete and should not be used in place of advice from your physician or healthcare provider. We recommend you consult your physician or healthcare professional before beginning or altering your personal exercise, diet, or supplementation program.